Now,
반응이 어쩌고.
you had asked earlier on about the techniques that are used to cheat at cards.
아니요.
아니에요?
제가 보기만 했죠, 보기만.
He's seen a
보기만.
lot.
Yeah. So I'm going to demonstrate some of those techniques, but instead of just showing you, oh, here's how I get the aces or whatever, I'm going to break down each step so you'll understand like each step of how someone would go about cheating at a game of cards.
그래서 제가 꼼꼼하게 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
오케이.
So I would like you to shuffle these cards. Give them a shuffle for me.
섞으라고?
네,
Perfect.
샵. 카드 섞어주세요.
And I'm also going to ask you to give my deck a cut, and I'll cut your cards as well.
그러면 다니엘도 준석 씨가 섞은 거를 이렇게 컷하는 거예요. 서로 이제 컷을 해주는 거죠.
Now I'm going to let you choose a poker hand, a 5-card poker hand from this deck here. Good hand, a bad hand, or just 5 random cards. Very strong hand.
AK 플러스 올인 전재산 다 박나 그냥.
그러다가 코몽님이 가셨는데.
So a full house, if you're not familiar with poker, that just means a 3 of a kind, 3 kings, and a pair, in this case 2 aces.
간단하게 설명하면은 돈이 만약에 전재산 있으면 전재산 다 박아도 되는 패예요.
And now, from this deck of cards that I shuffled and that you cut, I'm gonna see if I can match your poker hand.
이거 어떻게 찾아? 뭐? 에?
That's the face of utter resignation. Let's go for the next one.
에? 아니 이거 뭐야? 안 봤잖아.
Give the
이거
cards
카트한 거지?
a shuffle like this, and a few cuts. Should be able to find the king of hearts.
아니
For this one, would you give me any number, let's say from 1 to 5?
4.
4. 1, 2, 3.
아 뭐야 이거?
Now this leaves, of course, just one card remaining in the deck. So I'll give these cards one last series of shuffles and cuts, like so. And I will attempt to cause one card to come spinning out of the middle of the deck. Any luck? Should be ace of spades.
와
대박.
미쳤다.
However difficult that might be, there's a bit of a problem here, right? I knew exactly which cards you had picked because they were face up like this. That's a little unrealistic, right? It would be much better if instead I didn't know the cards that had been chosen.
에이 어떻게 찾아?
So that's what I'm going to give a try here. I'm going to have each of you choose a card, and there's going to be a card chosen for the audience. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to go through. You just take any card out and just put it face down on the table. This one here, all right,
Yeah.
perfect. Just leave it face down there. This one here, all right, put that face down. You choose a card.
Hey you guys.
It's very nice of you. Now, just so that the audience, the chat, can have a card, whoever types a number from 1 to 10 in first, that's the number we'll use.
8.
8, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, I also have 4 pens here. I'm going to have you take this pen. You're going to sign your name on the back of the card, and then you will remember the card, okay? You're going to do the same, you're going to do the same. And someone in the audience, just say like a random shape that you can
무슨
draw.
카드인지.
Yes, and I will look away.
이거 이따가 당근에서 빠르면 돼.
그렇지.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure I don't see.
나 봤어.
Someone said the first one was star.
A star, okay, so that's the card, that's what will go on the back of the audience's card, is a star. That way you know that there's just no way I could have possibly known what would end up on the card first. Okay, so 4 cards, and now the other thing I'd like you to do, Yumika, is just give these cards a shuffle. Shuffle them as much as you like. And I will now take each of these cards back in turn. So we'll start with your card. Very important you remember this card.
카드 잘 기억해주세요. 중요합니다.
And next up will be Yumika's card. Very important that you remember this one. And Kim, I'll take your card next, goes back into the deck. And last but not least, the card chosen by all of you in the chat will be this card here. So 4 cards, 4 different parts of the deck. And whenever you're satisfied that those are shuffled, just set them down here. All right, perfect. Now, the important question here, Yumika, is: are you really truly satisfied that these cards are mixed, or do you want to shuffle them some more?
카드 잘 섞였다고 생각하십니까? 아니면 다시 섞으시겠습니까?
Okay, perfect. Would you hold your hand out for
그런데
me?
안 섞는다 그랬으니까
I want you to hold on to these cards here and cover them up with your hand. Perfect.
손 아래, 손 아래.
Now, last time, I was able to locate a poker hand that you'd chosen, but I knew what the cards were in advance.
그쵸.
Right. Whereas this time, I don't know what cards you've chosen. I don't know what card the chat chose either.
이번에는 저희가 고른 카드를 모르잖아요.
And I'm now going to try to stack the deck. Not just find the cards, but stack the deck so that I receive all 4 of those cards in, let's say, a 4-handed game of poker.
Okay.
Now, usually in poker, of course, you'd have 5 cards in your hand, but just because we've got, 3 audience members plus the chat, we're just going to do 4. Now, when you stack the deck, the very last thing you have to do is give the cards a cut like this, and the cards have been stacked. Now, when you deal cards in a game of poker, people always put a cut card on the bottom of the deck. So let's find out if the stack worked. I'm going to deal out a 4-handed game of cards. And for the first time, what was your card?
What?
Your card was the 5 of hearts?
Yeah.
Okay, 5 of hearts, and with any luck, this first card here should be the 5 of hearts.
와, 뭐야?
So that's 1 down, 3 to go. Let's try it again on this second round here. Hopefully, I should have been able to stack Yumika's card here. What was yours?
6 of hearts.
6 of hearts, and that should be the 6.
와!
So 2 down, 2 to go. Now, as I was stacking the cards, I was also trying to get a sense for what some of the cards were. I was looking into the shuffles. Kim, I think your
카드를
card...
스태킹을 하면서 그냥 찾는 게 아니라 어떤 카드를 골랐지? 라고 자기가 한번 봐봤대요. 셔플을 하면서 동시에.
I think you had a red card, right?
맞습니다. 빨간 카드.
It's a diamond, maybe a king of diamonds?
킹 다이몬드 맞아요.
And indeed, that should be the next card, the king of diamonds. So 3 down, 1 to go. Of course, last is the most important card, the card that all of you see. 4th and final card, with any luck, should be this
Eight of
one
hearts.
here, the 8 of
네,
hearts.
파라트.
와! What the fuck? 뭐야? 어떻게 한 거야 이거?
Once again, your favorite English phrase.
한 번 더.
다시 한번 준석 씨께서 가장 좋아하는 영어 문장을
What the
말씀하셨습니다.
fuck?
Now, the problem here
와,
is
씨.
that I didn't actually locate your cards, right? All I
여기서
did-
또 문제가 하나 있는데 정확히 말하자면 여러분이 고른 카드를 찾은 건 아니죠.
All I did was I matched your cards, right? Because your cards have red backs, and they're
Really?
signed, and they're under your hand. If I really was able to find the 8 of hearts that all of you
여러분이
selected,
선택하셨던 파라트를 진짜로 찾았다면
Then-
뒷면이 이렇게
this card here would have,
빨간 생겼어요.
야 뭐야?
and this king of diamonds would have your signature on the back,
아니 뭐야
your
이거?
signature on the back, and the 5 of hearts would have your signature right on it.
와 뭐야 이게? 와 언제 바꿨지?
아니 어떡해?
아니 해리포터가 많네.
해리포터.
This should be a souvenir for you. This will be a souvenir for you, for
Thank
you, and for you, chat.
Oh,
Metaphorically, here's the card. It's a very good shuffle.
자, 오늘의 예상되는 댓글. 교수님 진도가 너무 빨라요.
Now, in any shuffle, no matter how well you shuffle the cards, right? Even if you shuffle like this on the table, there will always be some good cards together in the deck. So if we look through the deck, we'll see that there are good cards, right? 3 clubs together, part of
이러면 플러시 같은 패를 만들기도 좋고 가운데 잭 하나 있는데 7이 이렇게 양쪽에 있는 경우 3, 3 이렇게 같이 있는 경우도 있죠.
And this isn't because you didn't shuffle well. It was a very thorough shuffle. It's just that mathematically, just because of probability, there will always be some good cards. And a skilled card sheet can take advantage of this fact. So if I give these cards a few shuffles on the table like so, Yumika, would you cut over less than half the deck?
이만큼?
Perfect. Now, that means I have to deal from the exact spot that you cut.
자, 유미카 씨가 커팅을 한 위치에서 제가 딜링을 해야 됩니다. 이렇게.
So I'm going to deal out a 5-handed game of poker here.
네, 5명이 포커를 한다고 가정하고 딜을 해볼게요.
Now, there's a reason I stopped after just 4 cards, which is that I was trying to deal myself some of those groups of cards that we saw earlier. And if I've done my job correctly, I should have been able to deal myself all 4.
아니 뭐야 이게? 아니 어떻게 한 거야 이거? 그 장갑 보고 섞은 거야?
Once again, ta-da.
A4 카드 전재산 다 걸어야겠다.
Now, Again, a small problem with what I just did. The 4 aces are too sensational. It would be really obvious if you dealt yourself the aces, right? So it's much more deceptive if you cheat with, a different group of cards, usually even a pair or 3 of a kind. But just in this instance, we'll use a 4 of a kind. So would you say a number from 1 to 10?
7.
7. So because you said 7, I'm going to go through the deck and I will take out the 4 sevens.
Okay.
유미카가 7을 말했으니까 7 4장을 이렇게 빼도록 하겠습니다.
Now, the category of technique that I was using here are what are called crooked deals. And all this means is that instead of dealing a card off the top of the deck, you might be dealing it from second from the top or the third from the top position. There's that extra 7 I was looking for. Now, I'm going to demonstrate some of these techniques using the 4 sevens here. So here goes. I will start by taking the 7 of spades and I'll place this card on top of the deck. And I will deal out a round of cards.
와.
Yet somehow I've received 7 of spades. Now, it's very easy to see what's happening if I leave the 7 face up. When I deal to those other players, I'm
아니,
pulling
어떻게 이렇게 나오는 거야?
cards from underneath the 7. In other words, I'm dealing the second card.
이렇게 두 번째 카드를 빼는 윗밑장 빼기라는 거였습니다.
Now, significantly more difficult is what's called a bottom deal,
이거보다 훨씬 더 어려운 거는 바텀 딜, 그러니까 밑장 빼기 말 그대로.
where the 7 of diamonds here goes onto the bottom of the deck. Yet I can deal a card to each of those other players and 1 card to myself off the bottom. So the 7 is no longer on the bottom, because it's now in my poker hand.
뭐야?
Now, in high-stakes games of cards, they make you use what's called a cut card.
진짜 뭐지
자,
진짜?
그래서 판돈이 높은
네.
게임판으로 가면
예.
컷 카드라는 것을 해요. 아까 말했던 프로텍터 그런
네,
그건데.
프로텍터.
네.
So, if I put the joker on the bottom, right, if I tried to do a bottom deal, I would deal the face-up joker, which would be super obvious. So, I'll put the joker on the bottom here. Yet, I can deal out 1 card to each of the other players here, and 1 card to myself. You can see the joker's still
조건은
there.
여전히 있지만
7's gone.
칠이
It's
없죠.
now in my hand.
와 아니 어떻게 와 뭐야 이게?
Now, the grandfather of all these crooked dealing moves is the legendary center deal, where the 7 of hearts.
하지만 이 중에서도 끝판왕은 중장 빼기입니다.
So it goes into the middle of the deck here. Yet, once again, I can deal 1 card to each of those other players and 1 card to myself directly from the center of the 7.
와. 와 중간에 있는 걸 와. 중득.
Now, there was something a little unrealistic about what I just did there, right? Which is I was choosing where I put the cards in the deck. And in a real game, they'd be scattered throughout the deck. So I'm going to place the 7s into 4 different parts of the deck here, let's say about here. And I will ask you, Yumika, if you would just push the cards together like this.
유미카 카드 정리해 주시겠어요?
Now, small piece of advice for everyone. If you ever try this for real, which I don't recommend, don't play with the 7s face up. Right, that would make it very obvious that you were cheating if you left these cards face up. I'm only doing that just for the purposes of demonstration.
여러분께 보여드리려고 앞면으로 둔 거지 실제로 이러면 여러분 손목 날아갑니다.
아 그치.
Right. So now the goal is to deal those 7s out from wherever they might be in the deck. And I'll deal them to my partner sitting at the 4th position here. So,
Yep.
lucky you, right?
Yeah, lucky 7.
So I will deal out a round of cards. Now, when I get to the 4th position, you can see there's no 7 on top.
보시다시피 7 없죠 여기에?
예.
But instead, I reach down into the deck to deal.
뭐야? 어디서 본 거야 이거?
So let's try that again. I will deal out another round of cards. Now, I believe the next one is 16th from the top, so I
다음은
just reach to the
16번째였던 것 같아요.
16th position. Let's go for the next one. I believe when I get to that hand, it'll be 19th. So I deal
이번에는
around.
19번째였던 것 같은데.
So I just reach down to the 19th position.
19번째.
And I think the last one is, I think it's 13. Now, I'll do exactly the same thing as I did before. So I'll deal out 3 cards here, right? 13.
3장이니까 13에서 3을 빼면
And 13 minus 3 is 10, which means I just have to
10이니까
deal
10번째 카드.
the 10th card. Now, unfortunately, for you, the player
주석식게 참 죄송한 말인데
the player sitting on 4 7s is not my partner.
호구야 니.
He's the sucker we're taken to the cleaners. Because my partner is sitting over here on a pat hand of 4 kings. They sit in poker. I never trust anyone, which is why I dealt myself.
아무도 믿어.
와 미친 거 아니야? 아니 호구 당했네.
대박이다. 그러면 이것도 컨트롤하면서 이거 하신 거죠?
맞습니다.
미쳤다. 와 7에 집중해두고 K랑 A가 나와버려. 와,
Well,
와 바로 호구됐네 그냥.